what are some nutritional principles that you live by? But what how can we partake in those?
Yeah,
Participate.
nutritional principles. I will say the biggest one is to, as much as possible, eat real food. And that sounds
Sounds
really
so easy, right?
simple,
It's so simple.
but that means like something as close to it is its natural
Yeah.
source as possible. So I mentioned earlier, so I'll reiterate kind of, it's fruits and vegetables in their whole forms
Yeah.
as much as possible.
Yeah.
Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, uh, you know, uh, wild caught fish is the best,
Mm-hmm.
pasture raised chicken, grass fed beef, but just quality meats, right?
Okay.
If you're going to eat meat, just make sure it's good quality. But all of those are foods from the earth in some shape or form, right? Whereas a Pop Tart, could you tell me what part of the earth that came from, or
Yeah.
how the origins back to where it started
Yeah.
are unknown?
I can't. I don't know when things have stuff like yellow six and red two.
Look,
I'm like, what is that?
thank you for bringing me to point number two.
All right.
Read the labels.
Bruh.
If you're going to partake in packaged food, a really great step to start taking is just to start reading labels.
Bruh.
And as much as possible, if you don't recognize something on the label, you probably shouldn't be putting it in your body. Because, again, I did come from the food industry. The research that is done is this is in such a small scale, it won't do you any harm
It's
off of
minimum.
consuming it once.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing studies on how minimal of these
Yep.
food processors and
Over
food
time.
dyes and preservatives,
Yeah.
right, consuming a little bit of it in every single meal
Yeah.
every day for the rest of your life.
Yep.
They're not doing that research.
Yep.
And so that is important for you to know. The amount of chemicals that are approved for
Jesus.
food manufacturers to use
terrible.
is obscene. And it's the worst in the US because,
Yes.
again, we're a capitalist society. We want to make everything work for the bottom line. That is
Yep.
the priority. Your
Yep.
health is not it.
It's not.
So you have to be the expert on your health and make sure that you know what you are putting in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you're looking at a jar of tomato sauce, it should say like tomatoes and water.
That's it.
That's it. If
Maybe
it's,
vinegar. I think some of them have vinegar in them.
really
but
minimal
really
things.
just
But if
water.
it's got, this added sugar and this preservative and this dye and this emulsifier, like, you don't need all that. You don't need all of that.
The magic H word that everyone talks about, the high fructose
Oh, yes. Yeah.
corn syrup. It's in everything.
It's in everything.
Because not only do they do, well, I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, but
You're
like
good.
not only do they do like take Oreos for example. I grew up eating Oreos a lot.
Mhm.
Not only do they do that with like okay, sure, there's like a minimum quantity in a package of Oreos, but they also put stuff in Oreos that sort of kind of actually make them addicting.
Yes.
To where kids are just popping them things
They're
every
literally
day. And
Yes.
like it's like every day it's in their lunch bag. And, like so now the parents are just buying these Oreos for their kids. Oh, my kid loves them. Well, yeah, your kid's addicted.
Literally.
Your child is addicted to Oreos. But yet you don't want them to go out in the world and get addicted to crack, heroin, whatever, alcohol. They're addicted to the food they eat. That's still as much of a problem.
There are food scientists out there where their job is to make something so hyper palatable, which means either so sweet, so salty, so cheesy, whatever it is, that you cannot put it down. Because if you can't put it down, you're going to keep buying them and they're
Yes.
going to have a lifetime customer.
Mm.
So you have to keep that in mind. If something is so
Crazy.
good you can't put it down,
Yeah.
it is manufactured to be that good.
Man, that's crazy.
So yes,
Yes.
eat real food, read ingredient labels, and I would say the third thing is start a food journal. It sounds silly, but there's something about writing down or typing out. I'm a pen and paper type of gal, so I like to actually write it down. But even if you just start a little thing on your phone, where you start a practice of maybe you just start with breakfast, right, this week. Start with breakfast one day a week, where you eat your breakfast, set an alarm for 1 to 2 hours later, because that's when your foods actually starts to be digested. And check in with yourself. How are you feeling? If you have gas and bloating, we don't always trace that back to, oh, I wonder if that came from the coffee with cream I had this morning, right? We just, again, accept it as normal. But let's start to draw those connections of, I eat this and I feel this way, so that you can now make an informed decision, right? Okay, well, maybe let me find a dairy alternative, right? There's so many options today. And again, that can go for anything. If your body doesn't do well on meat, hey, test it out, right? Okay, I ate this turkey sandwich, didn't feel too great, the next day. Let me try a vegetarian sandwich and I feel better.
Yeah.
Hey, now maybe you're not a person that does well on meat.
Yeah.
But I just think it's important to start paying attention to how you feel after eating certain foods, or really after eating anything. So yes, eat real food, read ingredient labels, start a food journal. That is a great way to start. Those 3 habits alone can be life-changing and take you on your own health journey, which I definitely recommend for everybody.
We love it. Thank you so much, Sinclair.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Can we do an outro little blurb thingy again?
Yeah!
All right, everyone. Peace out.